you in a grave 6 feet like Kenny.
Call me a god. You call me a god. You call me a god.
Good evening and welcome to the Premier League coverage of Nottingham Forest against Burnley in the Premier League here on LFS. Another game week comes to a close tonight, and it's been a game week full of comebacks and massive results. Brighton's wonderful victory over Manchester United and comeback wins for Man City, Tottenham, Aston Villa and Liverpool added to the hugely exciting weekend of Premier League football. Tonight we watch a home side who are looking on the up under Steve Cooper, and a massive away result at Chelsea before the international break has given them the belief that they can consolidate their Premier League status following their achievement of staying in the division last season. They host a side under Vincent Kompany who are looking to copy what Forest did last season and maintain their Premier League status at the first time of asking. However, Burnley are yet to achieve a point after 3 games so far this season, with this being their first away game and a tough away ground to come to. A result tonight would be massive for the Clarets. To the team news, and Nottingham Forest boss Steve Cooper hands debuts to deadline day signings Ibrahim Singare and Callum Hudson-Odoi following their moves from PSV and Chelsea. Singare replaces the injured Danilo in midfield and is one of 4 changes from the side that started the 1-0 win at Chelsea before the international break. As well as Hudson-Odoi, Anthony Elanga and Gonzalo Montiel come in. They replace Serge Aurier, Ryan Yates and Willy Boly. Fellow deadline day signings Odysseus Vlachodimos, Nicolas Dominguez and former Liverpool striker Divock Origi are on the bench, as is Nuno Tavares, who also featured as a sub against Chelsea. Burnley boss Vincent Kompany has made 2 changes from the team that started the 5-2 home defeat by Tottenham last time out. Dara O'Shea and Sander Berge make way for Charlie Taylor and captain Josh Brownhill. Anas Saruri returns after serving a 3-match ban, but is only on the bench, as is deadline day signing Mike Trezor. A moment of silence, as has been throughout all of the Premier League fixtures this weekend, to remember the tragedies, all of those lives affected in those tragedies in Libya and Morocco. Welcome to the Premier League Live here on LFS, our final programme of the weekend, and let's hope for a very exciting game. We've lacked the goals this weekend in our 2 games. We've only had 1 in 2 games, but let's hope for a goal-scoring fest tonight here at the City Ground. A ground that has compassion and passion its whole way through it. It lives through rivalry and royalty in footballing terms. Nottingham Forest and Burnley. Nottingham Forest, who were promoted from the Championship, and also Burnley, who were promoted from the Championship in the last 2 seasons. Burnley have a task of staying in the Premier League this season for the very first time. Nottingham Forest looking to consolidate their Premier League place after staying in the division last season. Some 2 teams with quite a lot on the line, to be fair, when you think about it. Burnley wanting first away game of the season and want a big result, and what a result it would be if they do end up coming away with a draw, a point, or even 3 here at the City Ground tonight, a ground that has been a fortress for Nottingham Forest under Steve Cooper. 45 seconds gone then, and Burnley have a throw-in on the right-hand side. It's back with Jordan Bayer in defence. Alderkiel. Taylor. Alderkiel. Burnley have the possession round the back here. Just taking their time in this game. Early start, looking to just build the play early on. See what they can get out of Nottingham Forest, because we know what Nottingham Forest can be. They get on the ball and they move it quick. Not afraid to go direct with their passing. Speed through their opposition. Charlie Taylor plays it infield to Bayer. Alderkiel now. Out to the right hand side is Connor Roberts. Has to go back to Alderkiel. Forest applying an early press. They have to go all the way back to James Trafford in goal. The Burnley players. And Burnley, of course, in their away strip tonight of that yellow and black. Yellow shirt and black shorts. Nottingham Forest in their traditional red shirt, red top and white shorts. Oh, a bit of a nervy one at the back there. Luckily, James Trafford was quick to that. Awani was on the press. Finds its way to Roberts. Now infield. Here's Zaruri. Or Amdouni, sorry. Apologies. That's really nice play by Koleosho, and then that will run all the way through for the goal kick there from Koleosho. Too much pace on that ball. It's getting to the names. Getting the understanding of the names of these players will be something I'll look forward to. Some interesting names for these two tonight. We do have other games involved going on tonight. As I mentioned, I was talking yesterday and doing with you. I would update you on all the scorelines from around those games. A 7:45 game in Serie A between Verona and Bologna is goalless at the moment, just started, and the game in the Irish Premiership, Crusaders against Cliftonville, is also goalless. That's a 7:45 kickoff. There's also an 8 o'clock kickoff in La Liga between Granada and Girona. We'll keep you up to date with all of those results, all of those scorelines and goals as they go in. And of course, here in the Premier League, bit of a battle there. The referee tells them to waves it on. That's nice movement from Lyle Foster. Foster takes the strike, and it's straight at Matt Turner, the Nottingham Forest goalkeeper. Of course, signed him from Arsenal. Was surplus to requirements at Arsenal. Was Matt Turner. It's really nice movement. Really good quick feet from Lyle Foster to get away from his marker. Turns on the ball and runs at the defence and takes the strike. It's good attacking play from the Burnley man. Here's Mangala for Forest. Montiel, the debutant. Worrell. Now Mangala. Out to Gonzalo Montiel. Down the line. Running on to it there was Anthony Alanga, another new player coming into Forest this summer from Manchester United. And that ball was given away, so Burnley have it back, but only momentarily. That's nice work from Worrell to win it back. Gets it to Gibbs-White, trying to set off Alanga, but well covered at the back there by Charlie Taylor. Helping him out is Brownhill, but that's again really good work from Gibbs-White. And then the free kick on the loose ball to Nottingham Forest. And that will be a free kick to Forest. Lyle Foster's down. There's a collision with one of the Forest players. He gave away a free kick to Lyle Foster. It's actually after the challenge with Joe Worrell that he seems to be in a bit of pain. See if he will be alright. He's had a good start. It's really good from Gibbs-White to win it off Brownhill. And then the follow-up, Mangala was working it out with Josh Cullen. And Mangala was just fouled there by Cullen, which gives Forest the free kick on the right-hand side. Gibbs-White to take. Morgan Gibbs-White, right-footed delivery, whips it in. Good header away by Bayer. Still bouncing around that Burnley box. Kept alive by McKenna, but straight into the hands of the Burnley goalkeeper, James Trafford. Well, this will be a big idea for these two teams tonight. You know, we talk about teams lower in the divisions and not the best quality teams. They always target set pieces. Set pieces is kind of like a balancing act in football at times, when both sides are kind of equal in what they can do in terms of set pieces. A very even system, and it's kind of prioritised by the the smaller sides and the less quality sides in the division to target set pieces and go for set pieces as an advantage move. Koleosho working it down the right hand side, but the last touch is off him. Too much pace on that one again from Koleosho. Goes behind for the goal kick. It's a nice idea. It's Charlie Taylor. Lifts it over the back of the defence. Runs off Montiel, does Koleosho. And he just takes a heavy touch as he's trying to take the man on, and it runs behind for the goal kick. But promising start that from Burnley. Trying to target their wide men, especially down this side. It's good to win it back in the midfield. Sends it over the top, but that will be easily collected back for Matt Turner, who rolls it quickly out to McKenna. Now in the middle is Sangare. Another deadline day signing for Nottingham Forest. They were very busy on deadline day. Thought they were going to be finished, but they kept just adding players. Remember the influx of players at Nottingham Forest last season, the 20-something number of players, 26 or something of those numbers last season. A bit less than that this season, but still quite a few players, including this man just seeing on the screen, Callum Hudson-Odoi. What a signing for Nottingham Forest. Once I heard that he was signing for Nottingham Forest, I thought, really, really good player. Really good player. Didn't get his opportunity, I think, at Chelsea enough. And that was kind of disappointing from a Chelsea point of view, because I think he's a really, really exciting talent. That's really good recovery play by Ola Aina to win it back for Forest. Another new player at the club. Honestly, there's so many new players at Forest. They could create a whole new team and rebrand, and we would think they're a totally different club. So many different names on the team sheet every week. Koleosho down the left-hand side for Burnley. Up against Sangare. Nice covering by Sangare to win it back and to keep the possession. But then he just loses it from a sliding challenge, and Worrell has to clear his lines. But in doing so, he's actually sent off Alanga. Awonyi. Gibbs-White now. That's better from Forest. Lovely ball by Gibbs-White out to the left-hand side. Here's Callum Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi with the ball in. Cleared away by Bayer. Kept alive by Sangare. Better from Forest. They've got the players. They've got the quality. He just needed to make the passes. Here's Hudson-Odoi again. Takes the strike. Bit of a deflection. And luckily, Burnley get it cleared from their point of view. But Forest trying to pin them in and keep the pressure on that defence of Burnley that's already conceded quite a number of goals. 11 goals, the most of any team this season. In the first 3 games, 11 goals conceded. 3 against City, 3 against Villa, and 5 against Spurs. I'll be hoping that they don't do... Well, they concede very little tonight, but with Forest, the attacking intent and the attacking players, they've got a tough task on their hands. Montiel making the run down the right, gets the throw in off Charlie Taylor. Of course, after that big chance for Nottingham Forest, the crowd are now getting up behind them. The City ground is in full voice once again. You can feel the passion oozing around this stadium. Throw in on the right hand side for Forest. They might go for the long throw here, which is kind of a set piece of its own at the moment. Montiel with a long throw. Headed first time, I think that was McKenna in there. Kept alive by Sangare. Alanga. Montiel on the right. Nice movement from Montiel. Mangala tries to keep it alive, but a bit of a scrappy one. Bouncing around, and Burnley will get the free kick because Mangala just committing a foul there. Good pressure from Forest. It's actually good from Burnley to hold them off. Weathering that storm, you know, it's talked about City ground was such a tough place to go for so many sides last season. You know, we think of Manchester City dropping points here, Liverpool losing here. Some big teams have come to the City ground and crumbled under the pressure of it. And we've just seen a delay of time wasting. The referee this evening is Rob Jones, and he is not taking any shit tonight. Sorry for the language, but he's not taking any of it tonight. James Trafford, the Burnley goalkeeper, in taking a free kick, is deemed to have been time wasting and has just got a yellow card. He's taking none of that tonight, the referee, Rob Jones. James Trafford just saying that there. He has been booked by the referee for time wasting. That's another big talking point that we've spoken about early in the season. The fact that there is so much more, there's so much stricter now the referees on certain things. The likes of time wasting has been a massive point that's been made by the footballing bodies, FIFA and UEFA, about how little amount of time is being played. Actual ball play time is in games, and that's kind of time wasting is a big player in that, and that's why the referees are being so much stricter. And it's fascinating to see. You know, I think I saw a stat there yesterday, or was it last week, where so many more yellow cards than usual at this point of the season for time wasting. Massive increase. Forest trying to come forward there. Gibbs-White couldn't collect the ball in the Burnley half. Burnley have it back. Only momentarily though, because they've misplaced their own passing. And Mangala will just see that one out for a Forest throw on the left. So 0-0 here early on at the City ground. It's a common theme for me this weekend. I've done 3 games this weekend. 2 Premier League games and an Irish League game. And I've seen 1 goal in 3 games. It was the Arsenal goal yesterday. So I'm hoping for a few goals tonight. With the way these teams look defensively early on in the season, I'll be hoping so. 6 conceded for Forest, 11 conceded for Burnley. Let's hope so. Let's hope so. Well, I'm going to talk about Forest very shortly and talk about how they've started their season, also how Burnley have started their season and how they start. But here's a move here. Alanga, nice ball to Hudson-Odoi. Awoniyi takes the strike, blocked. Kept alive in there, but offside was Morgan Gibbs-White. Another good move by Forest. They get the ball down the right-hand side. Alanga spins on the ball. They have the space on that far left. A lovely left-footed pass by Alanga. Finds Hudson-Odoi, who just slots it across the box, squares it across. Awoniyi to take the strike with the left foot. Burnley get bodies on the line and clear it away, but Forest starting to up the ante a bit and create a few more chances. That's what the home side will be the home crowd will be hoping for, hoping to see. Good evening, Stephen. Welcome in. Great to have you. This is a poor game for Monday Night Football. I mean, let's be honest. We're not going to have the big teams every week, but this will be an exciting battle. I love to see Forest. I think this might be the first time I've watched Forest this season. I think, if I'm not mistaken. That's a loose pass from Burnley. Latch to pawn. Here's Alanga. Alanga just inside the box. Goes down. It's a challenge by Charlie Taylor. It's deemed to be a good challenge. Throw in to Forest on the right-hand side. Burnley seem to be coming under the cosh a lot more now and feeling the pressure of this Forest side. Remember, of course, Forest have lost Brennan Johnson, who was a massive player for them last season. A massive asset to them in terms of their attacking play. Lost him to Tottenham, of course, in the summer. Massive player to lose for a side that relied so much upon their attacking talent last season and keeping them in the division, getting the good goals against the teams in and around them. He was a massive player in that, but keeping the likes of Gibbs-White and Awoniyi, sides that are players that know the side inside out and know where they need to be, what they need to be doing, and real cult heroes at this football club that are doing the best and producing every week for Forest, was massively important for them to keep a hold of, and then they could reinvest the Brennan Johnson money. Of course, Forest winning it high up. That's really good from Awoniyi. Awoniyi gives it out to Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi with a strike. Big save from Trafford. And Burnley clear their lines. Again, Forest latching upon poor play from Burnley. They're just playing it around the back, trying to play out from the back, Burnley. It's Bayer, runs out from his own defence. He gives it away. He just puts a little pressure on him, puts the press on, wins the ball back, gives it out to that left for Hudson-Odoi, who strikes through it right away. Makes a big save to James Trafford. But it's a common theme early on. They get the ball on the right, Forest, and they give it out to the left. There seems to be a lot of space on that left flank for Forest to work into. Until their biggest chances have come through finding Callum Hudson-Odoi on that left-hand side and feeding him into the game. Here's Mangala for Forest. Sangare. Has to go backwards to Worrell. Now across to Montiel on the right. Alanga here, nice footwork from Anthony Alanga, but the pass wasn't there and Burnley pick it up. Bit of a short pass again, gives Hudson-Odoi the chance to win it. He was felt that he didn't win it by the referee. I thought he did, fairly. Gibbs White's having a chat. But the referee said it was a foul on the Burnley man, Connor Roberts. I don't think there's an issue there. I just see this again. I don't think that's a foul. Genuinely, I see it from the other angle and it looks like Hudson-Odoi. It's a short pass back to Connor Roberts. It's kind of Burnley play themselves into that position rather than Forest committing the foul. It's a short pass. They get away with one there, Burnley, luckily, in my point of view, but didn't think that was a foul. Nonetheless, we play on. Brownhill tries to feed it through. Montiel cuts it out. It bounces down for Awoniyi, but the flag was up against Taiwo Awoniyi there for offside. Let's just update you from around the grounds. There's not much to tell you about, really, at the moment. Early on in those games around the grounds, it's in the Liga, it's Girona 0. Granada 0, Girona 0, 2 minutes gone, and that one's still very early. And in Serie A, Verona against Bologna, 18 minutes gone on that one, goalless as well. But we have a goal, just as I mentioned, there's nothing happening. We have a goal in the Irish Premiership game between Crusaders and Cliftonville. Crusaders, of course, early big favourites for the league title. Really, really good start to the season for them, they did have. And they have just gone behind at home to Cliftonville in the North Belfast derby in Northern Ireland, and it's a massive goal away from home for Cliftonville, who drew 2-2 with Crusaders last season in that fixture, and they will be hoping for 3 points tonight, Jim Midgilton's side, and they've taken the lead. Crusaders 0, Cliftonville 1. Right, we'll be hoping for an opening goal here at the City Ground between Nottingham Forest and Burnley. Still nothing yet. I would say Forest have looked the more likely so far early on. Sangare now finds Montiel. Out to Alanga on the right flank. Comes inside Anthony Alanga. Goes back to Worrell, and then that's too much for Gonzalo Montiel to keep in. And goes out of play. Remember, Gonzalo Montiel, if I'm not mistaken, was a massive, massive player in a very recent World Cup final, if I'm not mistaken. He was, wasn't he? And he scored the winning penalty to win Argentina the World Cup. Not a bad signing for Forest, to be fair. Stephen says would have preferred a bigger game, but happy just to have the game. Yeah, I mean, I don't actually think this game was picked initially, because it's a 7:45 kickoff, and usually Monday Night Football games are 8 o'clock kickoffs. That's why I found it a bit strange that this was actually televised. I thought it was going to be one of those games where it's not on the TV, but it's a Monday night game. But great to have it on. Great to have these two teams playing. Burnley's first away game of the season. My first time watching Nottingham Forest this season at the City Ground, a ground that would be on my bucket list to go and visit at one point or another in the future. Taylor taking his time for that throw-in from Burnley. Was getting a few jeers from around the crowd. They wanted a bit of time wasting. They wanted the referee to do something, but nothing doing there. Steve says, come on, Burnley. In the chat there. Still 0-0. I have to say, Forest looked the more threatening early on, but I wouldn't then say that there's no chance for Burnley. Of course there is. That's lovely by Gibbs-White. Breaks away from his marker. Gibbs-White running at the defence. Still going. Gibbs-White leaves it across. The cross isn't accurate enough, and Burnley do scramble it away. But that's another big chance for Forest. It was beautiful skill from Morgan Gibbs-White initially. Lifts it over his man and just drives towards the Burnley 18-yard box. Luckily they had time to recover and get bodies in the way, Burnley, but Forest look a real threat on those long balls and those balls in behind the defence. The defenders of Burnley look to be struggling, and it was something that was picked up on in the pre-game analysis of Burnley's previous games, and it was spoke about they leave their centre-backs very one-on-one battles with attackers on a lot of occasions, and that type of overload on defences against really top quality forwards is where they seem to be struggling to keep their momentum defensively and to keep their stability defensively, really. They fire players up the pitch, leave three at the back while they're in possession, but when they lose the ball they give it away and it's 3-on-3 basically, and Burnley get overloaded from those two points of view, and it was quite similar. The analysis was done and it was quite obvious to see how open Burnley were from those positions and how vulnerable they could be from those positions, and that's probably to account why they've conceded 11 goals in 3 games. And that's something that Vincent Kompany needs to kind of focus on. I know that he wants to play really nice out from the back football and take risks, but if you're taking risks at the expense of conceding so many goals in games, and I mean, granted, they have played some tough sides, let's not be too critical of them. You know, their first 3 games, Manchester City, Aston Villa and Tottenham. Man City and Tottenham, the top 2 in the league at the moment, after 5 games, in Aston Villa, who have a fantastic group of players, are in European football this season. So I'm not going to criticise Burnley too much for conceding so many goals, but they just need to be careful defensively. Speaking of goals, they have a chance at scoring one here. Corner, left-hand side, whipped in for Burnley, straight into the hands of Matt Turner. Talked about the importance of set pieces. Matt Turner's trying to throw it out from the back, trying to give it to Alanga straight away, but there is a foul actually off the ball, I think. The referee just stopped the game here for some reason. There's a foul off the ball. We'll see this again. The corner comes in from Burnley, left-hand side, right-footed, whipped in, straight on to Matt Turner. And then we just see, yeah, it's a foul by Koleosho. The referee gave the advantage initially for Koleosho's kind of impeding of Matt Turner having to throw the ball. He impeded him in trying to throw the ball, and that will give Forest the free kick. 24 minutes gone, 0-0 here at the City Ground. Forest have had the better of the chances so far in attacking areas. Callum Hudson-Odoi's had one, Awoniyi's had one. They're getting the ball forward and moving it quite nicely, Forest, and with their attacking players, if they keep getting their chances, it'll only be a matter of time before they get an opening goal. That's something that Burnley need to try and break up, stop Forest from having those spaces to run into. Lovely footwork from Mangala. Gets it to Ola Aina out on the left-hand side for Forest. Aina linking up with Hudson-Odoi. Gibbs-White. Mangala. Back to Ola Aina. Well, we look at the stats so far early on. Forest have had 4 shots to Burnley's 1. Both teams have had a shot on target. Forest have had 9 touches in the opposition box to Burnley's 1. But the possession is 50-50 at the moment. Awoniyi trying to lay it off. Does lay it off eventually after the bouncing about. Hudson-Odoi on the left flank. Up against Connor Roberts. Hudson-Odoi feeds it through. Mangala's made the run. It's flicked on. And it's missed both Awoniyi and Gibbs-White in there. So close again, Forest. Aina with the delivery. Straight into the hands of Trafford. But again, Forest coming so close to linking that up and making the perfect goal. It's Hudson-Odoi on the left-hand side. Lays it in behind of Mangala, who made the run through the middle. Cuts it back. Awoniyi and Gibbs-White are waiting in the middle. It just evades the both of them. Burnley can clear their lines and get it away, but very, very close again, Nottingham Forest, to an opening goal. It's Burnley again. They look vulnerable down that left-hand side. Whether it's a complete mismatch or it's just that Forest are finding the space that Burnley are leaving on that left-hand side, as Connor Roberts is getting right up the pitch, really, really advanced, leaving that left kind of channel for Forest players to run into and to get the space to get themselves forward. That seems to be where Forest are targeting to try and cause Burnley issues. It seems to be working so far. Here's Al-Dakhil for Burnley. Goodmanson on the right hand side. I think it's the first time I've said his name tonight. Back to Al-Dakhil. Burnley just need to get a bit of possession, get their foot on the ball, make a few passes and quieten down this City Ground crowd, which are quite happy at the moment with how their team have started. The possession that they're having, the attacking chances that they're creating. Shouldn't be too unhappy so far, the Forest fans. And I'm going to talk about how they've started their season. I mean, it's pretty much been a decent start to the season for Forest. I mean, 2 wins from their first 4 games, 2 defeats as well in that time. But wins against Sheffield United and Chelsea, but defeats to Manchester United and Arsenal. It's probably exactly, if not better, than what Forest would have hoped for. I mean, many would have predicted 3 points from 12, but 6 points from 12, considering they were playing Chelsea, Arsenal and Manchester United in 3 of their first 4. To get 6 points out of 12 is a pretty good result, considering they held Arsenal very close and Manchester United very, very close at Old Trafford and the Emirates respectively. It's a pretty positive start to the season for Forest. I mean, considering how they struggled away from home last season and that their home results were massive to their survival. That will still be the case this season, of course it will be, but their home results will be massive to them. But improving their away results is something that I'm sure Steve Cooper will be wanting to continue to do, and to improve the results that they're getting out of them. You know, the performances are massive. I mean, the performances against Arsenal and Manchester United were huge, incredible performances, but not getting anything out of those is kind of a disappointment. However, Manchester United, Manchester United and Arsenal, 2 sides that really, I mean, Man United haven't started the best and Arsenal have, but at home both teams look pretty strong, and that will be the one thing that Steve Cooper will say, is if we can perform against other teams like we did against Man United and Arsenal. Oh, big chance for Burnley. Big save by Matt Turner. It's a shot from distance. Burnley just had the ball in the middle and they decided to open it up. We see it here. It's Alanga loses out on the ball. They pick it up high up nicely. Koleosho works it across. I think, couldn't see who actually it was. It's actually Amdouni. Takes the shot from distance, right-footed, straight down to the left corner, and Matt Turner has to scramble to put it across. But that's Burnley's probably first chance of the game. First big chance at trying to score. They have a corner from it, left-hand side. We'll talk about Forest, how they've started their season. We'll continue that conversation in a moment. Corner Burnley, right across the box, right to the back post, kept alive. Straight into the hands of Matt Turner. That another disappointing set piece from Vincent Kompany's team. Here's Awani, trying carrying Forest down the other end. Has to go backwards though and keep Forest on the ball, recycle the possession to keep it in there under their control. Down the left-hand side is Hudson-Odoi. Infield to Gibbs-White. Now Montiel. Out to Alanga on the far right flank. Anthony Alanga switches it across. Kept alive by Gibbs-White. Looked to be a bit of a dangerous pass through the middle, but Sangare. Good from Mangala and Sangare. Sangare lays it off out to the right-hand side. Montiel to chase. Battling with Bayer. Bayer holds firm and Burnley win the throw-in. But as I was saying, the positive start to the season for Forest will be a massive, kind of thing for confidence for them. You know, after this game, they have a big game away at Manchester City on Saturday at the Etihad. Then they have Brentford, Crystal Palace, Luton to come before they head to Anfield. So 3 of their next 4 are very, very winnable games. After this one, Brentford, Crystal Palace and Luton, very winnable games. Winnable games indeed for Forest. With the quality they have and the start that they've had and the performances that they've had against bigger opposition, they can get good results. And that positive start is massive in how you continue the season. Just a foul here. It's Orel Mangala who's given away the free kick, and he's just been given a yellow card by referee Rob Jones for that challenge and that foul. You just see the replay of it. Mangala just loses out in the ball, tries to win it back, and in the process fouls Amdouni and gives away the free kick. And it actually kicks it away. Mangala afterwards. That's why he's been booked for the... He just kicked the ball away. Unnecessary, that. Should know by now the referees are not going to allow that to slide anymore. Kicking the ball away is a straight yellow card now. Nice quick feet from Amdouni to get Burnley forward. Switches the ball. Koleosho on the left hand side. Back to Charlie Taylor. Taylor looking for another switch ball out to the right for Goodmanson. Taken down nicely. Up against Aina. Has to go backwards. Roberts. Cullen. Now Charlie Taylor. Out to the left is Koleosho. Gets past Montiel. Lovely feet by Koleosho. The pass isn't there. Well won back. Then it's stolen away again. Here's Cullen making the brick end of the box. Josh Cullen across. No one there to meet it. To finish it for Burnley. Kept alive by Lyle Foster. Foster beating the challenge of Aina. Keeps it alive. Cullen with a cross. All the way through again. Brownhill keeps it alive. Better from Burnley. Charlie Taylor has to put it back to his defenders. But that's good recycling of the ball from Burnley to keep the possession. Al Dakhil now. 33 minutes gone at the City Ground. 0-0. Burnley starting to grow into the game. Still all the same around the other grounds tonight. Granada 0, Girona 0. Verona 0, Bologna 0. And Cliftonville leading Crusaders at Seaview by 1-0 in Belfast. In the North Belfast derby, that is, in Northern Ireland. Charlie Taylor's ball is given away, but the heavy touch from Montiel allows Burnley back in, and the free kick, it's a sliding late challenge by Gonzalo Montiel, who will get a yellow card here for that challenge. It's a late one, very, very late on Josh Brownhill. And Gonzalo Montiel has been booked for that very late challenge on Montiel. So Burnley have a chance then. And Burnley have conceded or scored 3 goals this season. 1 against Aston Villa and 2 against Tottenham. 3 in 3 for them. Can they make it 4 in 4 from this set piece? Brownhill steps up for it, gives it to Goodmanson. Goodmanson with the cross, headed away, half cleared. Cullen. Koleosho on the right flank. Up against 2. Koleosho takes them both on, trying to get the cross. Comes off McKenna, then comes off Koleosho and goes behind for a goal kick. Interesting story for you. I'm actually going to be at Seaview at the weekends in Belfast for Crusaders' next game. Looking forward to that one on Saturday. Not that many of you live in Northern Ireland or in Ireland that will be able to hear it. You have to be a UK resident to listen to BBC Radio Ulster. That's where we will be on. Another free kick for Burnley. Koleosho fouled this time. Burnley starting to win the free kicks, win the challenges, win the 50-50s. It's another, not the best of challenges by Ibrahim Sangare. Let's see. They have another chance at this set piece. It's Brownhill and Goodmanson over it again. Can they get it into a good area? Goodmanson leaves it this time. And he's taking his time, actually, because the referee's just stopped it, sorting a few things out defensively there. Whistle goes, Reading to take it. Goodmanson leaves it. Brownhill with a cross, right-footed, straight at Matt Turner, who catches with ease. It's a couple of times that Burnley have put in a set piece, and the Forest keeper has just come for it and collected it. Now a ball forward. Hudson-Odoi to chase. Keeper's out of his box. And a corner to Forest. Good from Hudson-Odoi. Really, really good again. I'll explain it to you in a moment. It's Charlie Taylor and Hudson-Odoi battling. Hudson-Odoi. It's the ball from the back. Is it Aina? It's a lovely ball in behind the defenders. Hudson-Odoi and Charlie Taylor are both running for the ball. Hudson-Odoi wins it, hits it off Taylor, and it goes out for the corner to Forest. Really, really good play from Callum Hudson-Odoi. So a corner for Forest on the left-hand side. Chance for them to go in front from a set piece. Right-footed delivery it will be. Whipped across, right away in, bouncing around, and will come out the other end. Behind for a goal kick. See this again. Right-footed, whip right across, and it was Awonyi that was closest to it at the back post. It just bounced down ahead of him. Couldn't get a touch on it, and bounces right the way through. Burnley goalkeeper actually looked very, very vulnerable there. They looked very vulnerable from that set piece, especially at the back post. Maybe a lack of bodies from Burnley at that back post to cover the Forest attackers. It's a free kick to Burnley inside the Forest half. Another free kick. Seems to be a lot of those in the last few moments for Burnley. A lot of free kicks they're picking up. That's probably where they're looking to do the number on Forest, but so far their deliveries from set pieces have been pretty easy for Forest to defend. Foster, Amdouni on the run. Gives it out wide, but that's far too much pace on that one. And that will run for a Forest goal kick. Another poor one from Burnley. It's lacking to get their measurements right here at the moment, trying to feed the ball right. Just not getting the quality on the ball that they will be hoping for so far, Burnley. And we're around about 7 minutes of the first half to go. We still await the first goal of the night here at the City Ground. We have a goal, though, in La Liga between Granada and Girona, and it's Girona that have taken the lead in that one. In that game, Girona 1-0 to the good there, away from home. Well, don't forget, we have so much more football to come here for you on LFS, especially this midweek. You do not want to miss this midweek. We have Champions League returns. The Champions League is back on our screens this week, and match day 1 of the group stages kicks off with what a cracker at San Siro tomorrow, 5:45, as AC Milan host Newcastle United. Newcastle, their first Champions League game in over 20 years, and what a game it is set up to be. San Siro, AC Milan v Newcastle tomorrow at 5:45. That's also followed by the other game in that group, PSG against Dortmund, and Newcastle in the group of death this season. What an exciting experience it will be for Eddie Howe and his team. A win on Saturday against Brentford at St James's Park. They'll be heading to San Siro in the midweek. What an occasion for them. And we have Champions League coverage tomorrow and Wednesday, before on Thursday we will have the Europa League as well returning, with Liverpool in action, as well as Brighton as well in their first ever European game. Brighton against AEK Athens on Thursday. Right, 5 minutes to go with this first half here at the City Ground, and it is still 0-0. And Burnley winning a few more free kicks high up in the Forest half. Charlie Taylor, Bayer, back to Al-Dakhil. Now Roberts. Burnley having probably the possession is there for Burnley. It's just the threat from in possession is not there. Here's a nice run from Koleosho, up against Worrell, gets past Worrell at the byline, cuts it back, right across, no one can finish it, big chance, big goal! Just as I was saying, Burnley didn't have attack on the ball, and it's a lovely finish on the cutback, and Burnley do have the lead. Forest had the early chances, Forest were in the ascendancy, but it's been Burnley the last 5 or 10 minutes that have worked their way into the game, and it's finally paid off for Vincent Kompany's side. It's a move down the left hand side, ball over the top for Koleosho, who just runs in behind, takes on Joe Worrell, who's over to cover, takes him on, gets past him, cuts it back under the edge. It takes a deflection off Lyle Foster, and Amdouni on the edge of the box is just there to slot it into the far corner, past Matt Turner's goal, past him into his goal. No chance for the defender or the goalkeepers. The defenders or the goalkeeper, and Burnley lead here at the City Ground. Forest 0, Burnley 1. And it's Zeki Amdouni with the goal for Vincent Kompany's side. My goodness me. Just as I was saying, it's commentator's curse as always. Just as I was talking about Burnley having very little threat in possession, they come and prove me wrong instantly. Instantly from that position. What a goal, and what a massive, massive goal that is for Burnley, considering their recent results to start the season. This will be massive. To take the lead at the City Ground is something to behold for this newly promoted side. This side that haven't picked up a single point so far this season. And a Forest side that looks so good here at home. Only had one home game in their opening 4 so far, Forest. They'll look to have a quick response here. Hudson-Odoi misplaces a pass. Burnley can recover. But it just shows Burnley were able to weather that early storm from Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest were piling on the pressure for 20-30 minutes and were much the better team. But Burnley just held in there, made sure they didn't concede, waited for their opportunity, came into the game and flowed all the way through. And they have done that. Fantastic from Vincent Kompany's side. But they'll need to make sure that they don't get too confident in themselves. Alanga trying to feed it through for a Awoniyi there. Good defending by Jordan Bayer to stop that ball from escaping his grasp. 90 seconds plus additional time to go in this first half, and the visitors lead through a Zeki Amdouni goal of top quality. Lovely run from Koleosho again. He looks a real threat. I spoke about how the early threat down the left for Forest was causing Burnley issues. It seems to be Burnley's threat down the left is causing Forest issues. That Koleosho, Luka Koleosho seems to be the massive factor for Burnley. We have a goal in the North Belfast derby. We'll get to that in a moment. Forest on the right hand side. Alanga trying to get a quick response before the interval. The ball in is easily dealt with, but then it's a mistake by Burnley. Gibbs White with a cross. Half cleared. Hudson-Odoi in the middle. Awoniyi has to cut it back. Mangala. Now Aina with a strike. That's awful from Ola Aina. Miles off target. Well wide goal kick. Random pieces have beat Chelsea and then struggle against Burnley, lads. WTF. Well, Steve Thomas is happy with the Burnley goal, of course, supporting Burnley tonight. The last couple of minutes, the last couple of seconds before the 45th minute, before we find out how much of additional time. We have a second goal in the game at Seaview in Belfast, in the North Belfast derby in the Irish Premiership, and it's Cliftonville that have took the lead. They've now doubled their lead. 2-0 away at their biggest rivals, Crusaders, at Seaview. Massive that will be for Jim Magilton's side, who have come under a real difficult spell since their impeccable start in the first 3 games. Tough run of games since, but they're back on the horse tonight, and a massive result it would be if they could get a win against Crusaders tonight. 2-0. Alanga takes the strike from distance, easily saved by Trafford. We will have 2 additional minutes at the end of this first half, by the way. 2 additional minutes. It's Alanga that makes the run through the middle for Forest, right-footed. It's not the most clean of strikes. He just takes a slide, side foots it. Forest, or James Trafford, can easily deal with that one. Simple enough catch for him. Lost their way a bit in the last 5-10 minutes, Forest. Just need to regain that. Maybe it could be half time that could give them time to regroup, re-examine what they need to be doing, and remember the kind of, they're at home, they need to get their crowd behind them, they need to kind of help themselves, really. They've kind of dropped off very recently in this game. Bit of delay there. Forest taking their time on the free kick. Turner to Worrell. Worrell with the ball out from the back, down the left flank, the right flank. Burnley deal with it again, and Koleosho in possession. Nice play. Finds Cullen. Cullen inside the Burnley half. Has to give it back to Connor Roberts. Now Cullen in the middle again, finding the space to work it into. They've really grown into this game, Burnley, and it's credit to them. A difficult place to come, the City Ground. A real tough atmosphere early in a game, especially when your team is under the cosh. But they've held in there and held firm and have the lead. The half-time whistle goes, and it's Burnley that have the lead at the break. They've really had to struggle and a lot to deal with in the first 30 minutes. But since then, they've probably been the better team. They've had the better of it, and they have the lead at the break at the City Ground. Half-time, Nottingham Forest 0, Burnley 1.
Which is extraordinary. 2.6 million, 860,000 add-ons could be the bargain of the century, given what we've seen in this 45. At the moment, he represents Italy under 20s. He could play for USA, Canada, Nigeria, and Italy. So he's got a decision to make at some point, but he has completely tormented Montiel, and I'm with you. He's got to go off at half-time, Montiel, before he's sent off.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's grown into the game, as Burnley have, but what he's got is wonderful pace. A willingness to run without the ball into space, which you always need, because not every winger does that. They always want the ball to feet. And when you've got those two attributes, you're a problem. And then we saw when he starts running with the ball, he's happy to go on his left, because obviously that's his strong, and he's happy to go inside as well, which creates a real problem for the fullback. And he looks completely free. He's playing enjoying himself. He looks like he's really enjoying himself. And of course, Amdouni, who's got this beautiful balance and way of moving with the ball, who is grown into the half, is causing Forest all sorts of problems when they get the ball to those two because of their ability. It's a brilliant finish from, I think, probably the best player on the pitch first half, and that's saying something with the way Koleosho's done. Yeah, absolutely. Listen, they had to weather a storm, no doubt about that, but Forest haven't been clinical in front of goal. And just a word on Montiel. This is the guy who scored the winning penalty in the World Cup final and in the Europa League final as well. He'll always have those on his CV. Tonight it's a nightmare for him. There was a moment in that first half where he's left in a heap by Koleosho. He gets up, the ball pings to him off a ricochet. He gives it straight away to Cullen, who fizzes a ball across. He's left there, standing there, looking at what's going on, thinking, I can't influence this game. Seconds later, he's booked for a bad foul after a poor touch. He's had the nightmare, 1 out of 10 first half, and I'm being kind. Yeah, it's been poor. He's not helping himself at times because he's so keen to do well. He's trying to overlap on the times when Ilanga's got it on this right-hand side, which is using up energy and leaving him a long way back against one of the quickest wingers we've seen this season, the young lad. And of course, your first home game, you desperately want to impress, and you're trying to get too tight to your winger. And when you get too tight of someone who's quick, you leave him the space in behind. What he's better doing is driving himself 10-15 yards, maybe asking Ilanga to drop in and give him 5 minutes to help him double up a little bit. Or, what he's done on a couple of occasions, is get one of the central midfielders over and show him inside into the numbers. Don't get tight to somebody who's quicker than you.
We'll talk about Amdouni a little bit later on, because that was a terrific finish. But I was going to say that Joe Worrell, the captain for Nottingham Forest, centre-half, had a decent game. Koleosho then completely rinsed him on that left-hand side after he'd left Montiel for dead. What a performance from the Burnley youngster on the left wing so far tonight, and they lead 1-0. TalkSport Breakfast with Ali McCoist and Andy Townsend from 6 a.m. Their guests include the former Newcastle manager John Carver, now on the Scotland coaching staff, ahead of the Geordies' return to the Champions League. And AC Milan against Newcastle is live on TalkSport tomorrow. 5:45 kick-off, build up from 4 on TalkSport with me and Darren Bent at the Etihad. And actually there's been really heavy rain in Milan. The Newcastle fans have been sliding on their big bellies in the streets in the middle of Milan. It's been unbelievable to see some of the footage on social media. But they're making the most of it. But really heavy rain and bad weather delayed the flight for Newcastle getting out there as well. They were sat on the tarmac for some time, Eddie Howe and his squad, but they are out there, and we'll have that game for you live on TalkSport tomorrow. 5:45 kick-off. Join me and Darren Bent at the Etihad Stadium from 4 tomorrow on TalkSport.
Monday game night on TalkSport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
With the transfer window closed, it's now properly game on. Get the ultimate football coverage with the Sun's free pull-out goals. With the best writers pitchside for in-depth match reports, it's all about goals. And with unrivaled news from the Premier League to League Two, it has to be goals. Stay up to date on all the latest football action. Get your free copy of Goals every Saturday, Sunday and Monday only in the Sun.
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Sipping a morning coffee out on the terrace. Good morning, Mr. Squirrel.
Morning.
The kids building a treehouse in the garden.
I'm living my perfect childhood.
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of June 2022 and 30th of September 2022 is under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
Screwfix Sprint delivers from store to door in 60 minutes or less. So, whatever the job, you can do it with less stalling and more sawing. Less drive time and more site time. So don't break your stride. Screwfix Sprint. Order now exclusively on a Screwfix app. £5 delivery charge, no minimum spend. Don't stop. Sprint. Conditions and geographical restrictions apply. Selected products.
The Monopoly game is back at McDonald's. And guess what? It's still twice as nice. Because with double peel, you can peel on pack, then peel again on the McDonald's app to win prizes like brand new mini electrics, lovely McDonald's food, HP Omen gaming laptops, TUI holiday vouchers, £1,000 in cash, plus tons of other incredible prizes. 18 plus, UK only. Selected items, subjects and serving times and availability. End 17th of October. Gameplay and price claims may require McDonald's app. See mcdrules.co.uk.
Friend, for all of yourselves, we have all of your faves on Just Eat. From your wading through work self to your late night munchy self. Help those selves to a smooth Costa coffee latte. A perfect Domino's pepperoni passion. A freshly made Five Guys All-American cheeseburger. A classic Pizza Express American hot. And a delish McDonald's Big Mac. So take yourself from a 6 to a 9.9. We got it.
Did somebody say Just Eat?
Subject to availability and store opening time. Service charges and other charges apply. See justeat.co.uk for more details.
There will be 14 minutes of extra time.
With Betfair's new 90-minute payout, you don't have to wait for the final whistle to celebrate. Because your winning bet will be paid out in full at 90 minutes. Betfair.
Applies to match odds 90 market or markets with the 90 icon. Sportsbook exclusive. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Exclusive commentary of massive Monday night games.
And it's got in! Would you believe it? The biggest and best football on the radio.
Game night
on Talk Sport.
Chucked forward by Josh Brownhill. Chasing that is Koleosho, and he's got the better of Worrell. He's pulled it back into the centre of the penalty area, missed by Foster. Comes back to the edge of the box, and it's there from Amdouni. A brilliant finish on the edge of the box with his left foot as it came out off Lyle Foster, who didn't quite connect with it, but the ball spilled to the edge of the penalty area. And arriving late was Amdouni, and Zeki Amdouni, who scored the winner against Forest in the Cup, has put Burnley in front of the City Ground. It's Nottingham Forest 0, Burnley 1.
Well, Danny Murphy did say he fancied Burnley to get something tonight. They lead 1-0. Are they going to get their first points of the season? Forest with work to do. Let's get the half-time odds with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on Talk Sport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
And Forest are 4-1 to win. The draw is 21-10. Burnley to win. They lead 1-0. 5-4 on Burnley to win and both teams to score. That's 4-1. That was the latest odds with Ladbrokes. Play at ladbrokes.com. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Odds update on Talk Sport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Well, Newcastle's Champions League adventure hasn't got off to the best of starts. Eddie Howe says they were delayed in Newcastle before they were allowed to fly to Milan this evening. The 2.5-hour delay down to weather conditions. Howe admitted in his pre-match press conference at the San Siro just now that he's never attended a Champions League match before.
Yeah, no, I've never attended one. I've always been too busy working to take one in. But it's not something I've given any thought to. It's a game of football, and yeah, I think it'd be a proud moment for me. I think it'd be a proud moment for everyone connected with Newcastle to be back into the Champions League after a long period away. But it is a game of football, and I think that's just how we have to approach it. Yes, it's a special game, and we have to be at our best, and there's slight differences in terms of where we've travelled, but the game will be the same, but it will be a very difficult one.
Interested from Eddie Howe. Also in that press conference, Danny Murphy. Eddie Howe said that they didn't train on the pitch at the San Siro, haven't even walked around the pitch at the San Siro, and Eddie Howe's quote was, "That's overrated, it's a pitch."
He's never played Champions League or international football then, has he?
Never been to a Champions League.
No, but I'm telling you now, going to the stadium and training on it in European games, which you're allowed to do, by the way, obviously the weather not allowing them, I actually make him wrong. I've got a lot of respect for Eddie. I think he's done a great job, but it helps going to the pitch and training on it before you play on it.
Right.
1,000,000%. Unless you are a very established European international footballer who's done it a lot. My first couple of years of playing away in Europe, being able to go there the day before, night before, have a look round, train on the pitch, used to settle me and make me more comfortable the next day, and I could tell you that was for 90% of the lads.
So why do you think he's done that then? Is he just... Would he rather players focus on the game plan rather than where they're playing it?
Maybe I thought it was to do with the weather that they couldn't train on it, no? He just decided not to.
No, he's basically said it's a pitch, it doesn't really matter.
Messi, I'll put you in a grade 6 feet like Kenny.
Call me a god. Call me a god. Call me a god.
Welcome back to the live coverage of Nottingham Forest against Burnley on this Monday night football to round off match day 5 in the Premier League. It's been an exciting weekend, as I mentioned earlier. 4 big comebacks this weekend. Liverpool 1-0 down, Villa 1-0 down, Tottenham 1-0 down, and Manchester City all 1-0 down in their games, but came back to win them in dramatic fashion. Brighton winning away from home. Home wins for Fulham and Newcastle. A disappointing draw away for Chelsea at Bournemouth, and Arsenal a big away result at Everton yesterday. So far at half-time, it'll be a big away result for Burnley, who are 1-0 up against Nottingham Forest here at the City Ground. Zeki Andouni with the only goal of the first half to give Burnley that lead. Don't forget, we've more football coming up for you here on the channel over the next few days. The Champions League is back. Champions League Live. AC Milan against Newcastle tomorrow night, 5:45 here on LFS. You do not want to miss that one. We are so looking forward to it. Second half is coming up literally right now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications if you haven't done so already. Greatly appreciated. It would be indeed. Right, that came around very quickly. Second half's just got underway. Thought we had a bit more time than we did, but there we go. That's the joys of it, of live commentating. We are back underway then here at the City Ground. Nottingham Forest have a deficit that they have to turn around. And as I mentioned, a few teams have done it this weekend. 4 teams have done it from coming behind this weekend to get victory. Can Forest make it 5 from 5? We'll find out and see. Tonight, that's good pick-up by Goodmanson in a good area. Out to the left-hand side. Here's Koleosho for Burnley. Whips a ball in. Cleared away. Kept alive, but that header will be out of play for a Nottingham Forest throw-in. Some goals update you from Girona have really taken control of that game against Granada. Now 3-0 up against Granada. They had scored 2 goals while we were away at our half-time break. Savio and David Lopez with the 2 goals. Granada 3-0 down against Girona at home. And it is still 0-0 between Verona and Bologna. That second half will be starting very shortly there. And the second half's just got underway at Seaview. Crusaders 0, Cliftonville 2. It was at the break. We'll update you on the scorelines from those 3 games as it continues. I'd like to thank, by the way, before we continue the second half, I'd like to thank Kelvin Chokua for joining as a hardcore fan. Thank you very much indeed. Greatly appreciated joining. You don't have to join. Not many people like to be pressured into things like that. I don't blame you. Money is tight these days, but if you can, if you're ever so inclined, it will be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much indeed to Kelvin and everyone else who subscribes as a member, joins as a member, but everyone who subscribes anyway is still greatly appreciated. Burnley have the ball then. Here is Jordan Beyer. Out to the left is Taylor. Back infield to Beyer again. Burnley 1-0 to the good. I'll be hoping to, well, either make it better and go 2-0 or keep it at 1-0 for as long as they possibly can. Because Forest will be doing their utmost to get back on level terms as quickly as possible. And that'll be interesting to see if Forest can do so. Goodmanson. Good pressure, good pressing from Burnley to keep the ball, and good possession for them at the moment. Good spell on the ball. Just as I say that, Alderkiel gives a wayward pass, but it's won back by Connor Roberts. Cullen. Now back to Beyer, who has to go back to his keeper, Trafford, who made a few saves in that first half. James Trafford. Some good saves as well. No doubt he'll be called into action in this second half, with Forest looking to work their way back into the game and get back into the game to get something out of this. With it being their home game, they'll be wanting a win, of course. McKenna tries to intercept the ball, picked up again nicely in the midfield. That was Brownhill, gives it out wide to Koleosho. Linking up with Josh Brownhill, the Burnley captain tonight, once again. As Burnley have started the better in the second half, having better at the ball, more of the ball. Foster linking up with Koleosho. Montiel does well to intercept. And the long ball from the back from Worrell, trying to target Awonyi. Awonyi letting it bounce, takes it down, tries to feed it through, but he's challenged, taken down. But the referee has given a free kick. Really physical, Taiwo Awonyi. Yeah, it's a late challenge on Josh Cullen there from Awonyi, trying to win the ball back. And Cullen wins the ball first, and late challenge from Awonyi gives a free kick to Burnley. Some strong centre forward, a real physical player is Taiwo Awonyi, one that a lot of centre backs struggle against in terms of his pure physicality. That's another free kick to Burnley. Goodmanson fouled this time, so another free kick. That's something that Forest need to get a grip of. I spoke about it in the first half. The fact they were giving away so many free kicks gave Burnley a bit more confidence. I mean, Burnley had 9 free kicks in that first half compared to Forest's 3. They've already had 2 in this second half already. That seems to be where they're getting the joy. Here's Koleosho on the left. Koleosho in the box. Cuts it back. Amdouni with a strike. Bit of a deflection. It bounces behind for the corner. Koleosho and Amdouni again linking up and causing Forest problems. Really clever football again from Burnley. It's the ball in behind. Koleosho just holds it. Doesn't want to rush. Finds the space to open it up for Amdouni. Amdouni on the edge of the D. Opens it up with a strike. Takes the strike. And a bit of a deflection. Sees it wide for the corner. Better again from Burnley. Really strong. Corner's whipped in from the right hand side. Headed clear by Aina. Picked up from the distance. Taylor with a strike from distance, but it's gone wide. Very close again. See it again. It's half cleared by Ola Aina. And then the really good strike by Charlie Taylor just goes narrowly wide of the left post from distance. Really close. Here's Aina speeding down the left hand side for Forest. Keeps it alive, does Callum Hudson-Odoi. Keeps the possession. Hudson-Odoi with a switch ball. Lovely switch ball. Finds Alanga on the right. This is better from Forest. Cuts it across. Does Montiel, but it's cleared away by Burnley. A bit better from Forest. Gives them a glimpse of what they can do. Sangare. Alanga. I think the last touch was off the Burnley player. And Forest are getting ready to make a substitution in a moment. There's a player warming up on the sidelines. Nuno Tavares on the sidelines. So it will be a full-back change. We will see in a moment. Here's Ola Aina. McKenna. Now Worrell. Down the right is Montiel. Tried to link it up with Alanga, but weren't on the same page there. Sangare picks it up in the middle. Back to McKenna. To Joe Worrell for Forest. Down to Montiel on the right flank. Infield linking up with Gibbs-White. Alanga. Montiel to Gibbs-White again. Now Alanga. Alanga trying to run to the byline, but too much. Heavy touch. Goes behind for a goal kick. And they're going to make that substitution now, Forest. And it's Gonzalo Montiel that is making way. He on a yellow card. He is coming off and he is being replaced by Nuno Tavares. So a straight swap there for Forest. Whether that is just because he's on a yellow card or other reasons, Gonzalo Montiel's night in a Forest shirt comes to an end. So Tavares on for Montiel. And they have swapped sides, the two fullbacks. So Tavares taking up left back, and Ola Aina has switched over to right back for Forest. Here's Bayer for Burnley. Brownhill. Cullen has to go back to Bayer again. 8 minutes gone in the second half. Forest 0, Burnley 1. That goal from Amdouni in the first half has the two sides separated at the moment. Forest fans just still getting behind their team, singing "Come on you Reds," trying to get their side involved. They wanted a free kick there, Burnley. Forest won it back fairly. Gibbs-White. Now Hudson-Odoi on the left flank. Burnley have bodies back, really, a lot of bodies. Hudson-Odoi tries to flick it across. Just ahead of Awoniyi. Had to be forced behind for the corner. And it's Jordan Beyer that time. Got in the way. Had to put it behind and did so for his team. You see this again. It's Beyer that played it out. Wanted the free kick off Sangare. Just run into Sangare there, so that was never a foul. And Forest won it back and come up the other end. Corner Forest, left-hand side. It's Morgan Gibbs-White to take. Will be a right-footed in-swinging corner from Morgan Gibbs-White. A massive player for this side last season. Already this season, Gibbs-White heavily involved. Right-footed, whips it in right across. Headed away by Burnley. Mangala on the edge of the box. Takes a strike high and wide. Another good opportunity for Forest. It's a cross from the corner, headed away, and that falls to Orel Mangala on the edge of the box. Right-footed. It's just high and wide from him, and behind for the goal kick to Burnley. Better from Forest, but yeah, they're still lacking in those finishing areas. When we look at the stats, and Burnley have had more shots on target than Forest. 3-2 in Burnley's favour. Lovely cross by Goodmanson, trying to find Koleosho. Good header away by Ola Aina, and then the foul committed on Anthony Alanga there by Charlie Taylor will give Forest the free kick. We're just keeping an eye on the game in the North Belfast Derby. I'm actually confused as to what's just happened. I think there's a third goal. I'll tell you about that in a moment once I get confirmation of that. Gibbs-White switches the ball out to the right hand side. Alanga takes it down up against Taylor, lays it off. Aina with a cross, cleared away. Koleosho picks it up for Burnley, tries to go down the other end. Lovely challenge by Sangare, wins it back. Sangare with a cross, too deep there, cleared away. Better from Forest. Here's Nuno Tavares. Hudson-Odoi trying to work it in. Mangala takes a strike, blocked. There was appeals for handball there. I don't think there was a hand involved anywhere there. Forest getting a bit better at the moment. Worrell, Aina moving the ball quicker and better. Alanga up against Charlie Taylor. Alanga left-footed cross. Met it up there was Gibbs-White, but couldn't head it towards goal. Behind for a goal kick. Much better from Forest. Confidence grown there. Lovely bit of play. They keep it alive time after time, whipping balls in, causing issues, but they just can't find the finish. One of those chances has to get close. Have to find the opener for them tonight. They have to find a leveller. For those home fans who would have been expecting a good result tonight, a defeat is certainly not that, but growing in confidence, 33 minutes to go, still a lot of time to go. Still a lot can change in this game. There is a third goal in the game. My screen has, where I keep the scores updated, hasn't updated to 3-0, but I'm keeping an eye on the coverage of it, and it is 3-0 in the North Belfast Derby. It's Cliftonville that are running riot at Seaview tonight. 3-0 to the Belfast Reds. The Reds and Cliftonville are winning the North Belfast Derby quite comfortably. Crusaders 0, Cliftonville 3 at the moment. Burnley, good move down the left. Here's Koleosho. Back to Cullen. Koleosho keeps it alive. Down the left flank. Keeps it going. Tries to win the battle. Does Ola Aina and does so. Really good defending by Aina, who is pushed over there. Too much from Koleosho. Free kick Forest. Really threatening still, Koleosho. Really causing issues. Long ball from the back from Forest. First header won by Burnley. Sangari brings it down for the second header. Then Burnley win it back. They wanted a free kick there, Forest. Sangari felt he was pushed, but no foul, says the referee. Burnley can't keep it in, though. And that will be a Forest throw. On the left-hand side, Nuno Tavares will take this one. Of course, remember, Nuno Tavares has some bad memories here at the City Ground. Remember, he played in the Arsenal side that lost here in the FA Cup against Nottingham Forest, and he was taken off by Mikel Arteta in that game. Nuno Tavares, after 23 minutes, I think it was. He had an awful game here at the City Ground for Forest that day. He's on another planet, Nuno Tavares, on that afternoon. Playing left back. He's playing left back for Forest this time at the City Ground. I'll be hoping for a much better performance as a home player this time. Scott McKenna. Out to Tavares. Now Gibbs-White. Linking up with Mangala. Morgan Gibbs-White. Runs off the challenge of Amdouni. Gets past Cullen. Lovely move. Hudson-Odoi tries to find it back to Gibbs-White, but hits a Burnley player. Goes out for a Forest throw. Growing in confidence again, Forest. Their attacking players are getting on the ball a bit more now. Hudson-Odoi. Right-footed cross in. Headed away. Well won back by Mangala. Hudson-Odoi finds Worrell, who's also worked his way up the pitch. Alanga on the right flank. Alanga trying to use his quick feet. Koleosho there to battle. Aina keeps it alive. Alanga. Now Sangari with a cross. Sangari into the box. Chested down by Awonyi. Awonyi keeps it alive. Hudson-Odoi takes the strike. Oh, what a goal! Callum Hudson-Odoi. What a finish. Absolute top quality goal from Callum Hudson-Odoi. Forest are back level. The City Ground goes mad here. And that is a wonderful goal from Forest. They were growing in their confidence. They were being more threatening. They were causing more issues. But it's a finish from the top drawer from Callum Hudson-Odoi. A man that was never given his chance at Chelsea. Wasn't allowed to grow. Wasn't allowed to turn into a fantastic footballer. But here at Forest, he's getting his opportunity. And he's taken it with both hands. And fired Forest back level here at the City Ground. An insane finish. From the left-hand side, right-footed, curling into the top corner. No chance for James Trafford in the goal. You could put 5 goalkeepers in there. No one is saving that one. However, they're checking for offside. Where's the offside? Where's the offside? Sorry, hold on. Hold on here. Well, what's going on? What are VAR checking? I've no idea. That's not handball. And that's not offside either. We will wait and see. VAR stopping or checking this goal. It'll be a real shame if they rule this one out. I don't think there's any issue with that goal. It's Taiwo Awonyi that's the one in question who plays the ball to Hudson-Odoi. And that's it. Check complete. Honestly, it's just unnecessary, man. Really unnecessary. But Forest, their woes and their worries of a possible ruling out of that goal dissipate completely. Forest are level. 1-1. And Callum Hudson-Odoi can breathe a sigh of relief because his first goal for Forest, and what a goal it is one that gets them back level on the night. Forest 1, Burnley 1. Absolutely fantastic goal. Burnley are going to make a couple of changes, by the way. They've just made them before we restart the game for the after that goal from Forest. It's Goodmanson that's made way for Anas Saruri, so an attacking change for Burnley at the moment, just after that goal. And a second change as well. Amdouni has also made way, the goal scorer in the first half for Burnley. He has made way for Sander Berge, who's also come on. So a few midfielding changes for Burnley, trying to get them back into the game and in control. Charlie Taylor takes that throw in for Burnley. The City ground is now up and pumping. The crowd are really confident now, really in the mood. Let's hope their team are in the mood for their sake. Bayer goes back to his keeper. Awonyi with the press. Alderkeel clears his lines pretty well. Lyle Foster trying to hold it up for Burnley. Felt he was fouled. Hudson-Odoi throwing a challenge in. Forrest keep it alive. Hudson-Odoi on the chase. Up against Robertson, that left-hand side. Hudson-Odoi finds it into Gibbs-White. They've got the space in the box. Forrest, Gibbs-White. Awonyi misses it. Alanga can't get it. And straight into the hands of James Trafford. The cries of handball from Morgan Gibbs-White. The referee doesn't respond with anything. See this again. It's Morgan Gibbs-White. Takes the strike. Yeah, it does hit the hand of Josh Cullen, but his arm's behind his back. That's not a handball for me. Nah, that's not a handball. You can't give a handball for that. And the check is complete. No penalty for Forrest. Probably rightfully so, to be fair. That's not a handball. So 1-1 on the night. 25 minutes to go. Will there be more drama here at the City ground? Will we see Forrest complete the comeback? Or will Burnley take their lead back? Roberts finds Zaroury just on the pitch. Anas Zaroury. Here's Jordan Bayer. Connor Roberts now finds Sander Berge. Anas Zaroury. Two substitutes linking up on that right flank for Burnley. Back to Sander Berge. Can he find a pass? Finds it to Roberts. Back to Berge. Forrest pressing them out pretty well. Really good from Forrest. Again. Well, the last 10 minutes, it's been all Forrest. 4 shots, just the one on target. 4 touches in the opposition box and 56% possession. Burnley haven't had a shot on target, and haven't had a touch inside the Forest 18-yard box. Much better from Forrest. Gibbs-White, lovely ball, finds Alanga. Back to Gibbs-White again, heavy touch, loses out the possession. Forest fans wanted a free kick. Sander Berge has the pressure of Morgan Gibbs-White, but does work his way out of that one. At random pieces, that handball, Lewis Dunk of Brighton would agree, not a penalty. Refereeing these days is real poor, is proper poor. Oh, it's piss poor, sorry. No consistency. Yeah. I mean, that was never a handball. Rightfully so, it wasn't given. The referee agreed, no handball. VAR said it as well. They got the right decision there, to be fair. There is a lot of inconsistencies, but tonight, I say the referee's been pretty fair. Overall, Rob Jones hasn't had much to do, to be fair. Hasn't had many big calls to make, but he's refereed the game fairly well. When you don't talk about a referee, that's how you know they're doing well. When you don't talk about their decisions. Here's Zaroury. Has to go back to Roberts. Back to Zaroury in a bit more space this time. Zaroury with a cross, back post. Inez there to head it away because Koleosho was lurking. Had to head it out for a throw-in. Koleosho was there waiting to try and head that one towards goal. But Ola Aina was in his way to help Forrest defensively. They'll get a throw-in then, Burnley on that left-hand side. That's a goal kick from Forrest for Forrest. Burnley just got a bit wasteful there in that far side. Forrest have a goal kick. Just seeing the replay of the goal, it's a top quality goal. It's some goal. My goodness me. Callum Hudson-Odoi, he has to take a bye there. That's sensational. To have the confidence And the sheer quality to take that right-footed strike in such a difficult position and convert it into the net is just insane. It's nuts. Here's Koleosho for Burnley. So Rory couldn't control it. Now Callum Hudson-Odoi carries it away. He's fed the ball in behind, and a one you couldn't get on the end of that one. Burnley had that one all covered over there. Here is Jordan Beyer for Burnley, breaking into the midfield. Gets past Sangare, linking up with Brownhill. That's better from Burnley. Koleosho now down the left. Here's Lyle Foster. Foster tries to work it in, cleared away by Mangala for Forest. Awonyi tries to win it back, causing issues, but it's bouncing ball back to Al-Dakhil, who goes back to James Trafford with no worries. It's still all the same in the other games at the moment. 52 minutes gone in the La Liga game between Granada and Girona. It's Girona 3-0 to the good. Verona and Bologna is goalless, and Cliftonville still 3 goals to the good against Crusaders. 71 minutes gone in that one. Bit worrying there from Burnley. Just as I was looking back from my screen, Josh Burnhill, unopposed, unnecessary, gives Forrest a corner, who tries to pass it back and completely miscues it, and Forest get a corner. They're going to make a double change as well, Nottingham Forest. Oral Mangala, who's on a yellow card, is going to make way. He is being replaced by Ryan Yates, and a man who was a cult hero at Liverpool, a man who scored some sensational big goals, is replacing a man who scored a sensational goal tonight. Divock Origi, to make his Forest debut, is coming on for Callum Hudson-Odoi. So both goal scorers, by the way, for each team, are off the pitch. Amdouni off for Burnley, and Callum Hudson-Odoi makes way for Divock Origi for Forest. And Ryan Yates replacing Oral Mangala as well. So corner Forest, right hand side. Could be an instant impact if either of those two substitutes get on the ball. Corner whipped in, headed away. Picked up by Nuno Tavares. Gibbs White on the right hand side. Keeps it alive. Tavares, can he whip a ball in? He can. Whips it in. Headed away. Flicked on by Aina with the header. Bouncing around. Cleared away by Burnley, and Koleosho picks it up. That's really good from Sangare there to stop Burnley in their tracks and put it out for a Burnley throw. Well, of course, have to talk about Divock Origi. Scored some big goals for Liverpool. Massive goal in a Champions League final. Big goal, of course, many will remember against Everton in the Merseyside derby, a last-minute winner. He scored some big goals for Liverpool over the years. Steve Cooper, of course, who was a former youth coach at Liverpool, will be hoping that he can do the same for Nottingham Forest in his time at the City Ground this season. He can hope that he will have a massive impact up front for them. Similar impact to Callum Hudson-Odoi, to be sure. To be fair tonight, Hudson-Odoi, who scored that sensational goal to get Forest back level tonight. Around about 12 minutes ago that goal was. Burnley have a throw in then on the right hand side. Taken by Roberts, headed away by McKenna, and that will bounce out for another throw in to Burnley on the right flank. Another long throw by Roberts into the box, headed away by McKenna, not cleared, and on there was at the back post was Zaruri, who couldn't fire it into the net, but fired it well over the crossbar. Goal kick. Forest. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications if you haven't done so already. It would be greatly appreciated. Great to have your company with us tonight for this Premier League game, Nottingham Forest Burnley. And we'll have you all the way through. We'll have you covered for European football, Premier League football, all the way throughout the season, amongst many, many more competitions all the way through. Long ball from the back there from Forest. Yates with his first touch, brought down by Ola Aina. Aina on the right hand side, making moves forward. Elanga trying to cross it. Takes a deflection off Charlie Taylor and will go out for a Forest corner. Steve says, wow, big Divock. Indeed. Divock involved here. For the very first time for Forest. Signed on deadline day. It was a worry, actually, for the Forest, because they were wondering whether or not he would be signed in time. The paperwork were done before the deadline, but he did. And he's here, and he's playing in a Nottingham Forest shirt. Corner for Forest. Gibbs White to take on the right hand side. Right footed whip ball in. Looking for a one-yee at the back post, but evaded everyone in there. Now they're trying to go on the counter. Burnley. Koleosho threatening. Really good from Nuno Tavares to get it back to his keeper. Martin says, who scored for Nottingham Forest? Well, let me tell you, it was Callum Hudson-Odoi who scored for Forest, and I will not stop praising this goal. Sensational goal. Scored by Callum Hudson-Odoi for Nottingham Forest. They get them back level. They had been threatening. They were causing issues for Burnley, threatening them, making those passes. That's a lovely ball by Ryan Yates. Finds it to Morgan Gibbs-White. Gibbs-White trying to come through the middle, trying to find Origi at the back post, but Origi couldn't gather it. Too much height on that one, and runs out for a goal throw-in. But better from Forest there. Looking more of themselves, what we like to see, that counter-attacking football that we're so used to seeing from Forest. They're going to make a change here, Burnley. Vincent Kompany going to his bench once again, and it's a debut. So to look at Koleosho, who's played all the games for Burnley this season, has made way for a debutant, Mike Trezor, signed on deadline day for Burnley, and he makes his debut at the City Ground for Burnley tonight. Mike Trezor on for Luca Koleosho. Martin says, you're the best, my man. Thank you very much indeed. Great to have you with us. Long ball from the back from Burnley. Running onto it is Sander Berge, and he's broke through. Sander Berge cuts it back. Finish! Lyle Foster! Lovely goal by Burnley from absolutely nowhere. One ball down the line. Sander Berge beats his man, cuts it across, and Lyle Foster is there to slot it past the Forest goalkeeper, Matt Turner, and put Burnley back ahead. And put the cat back amongst the pigeons here. Forest 1, Burnley 2, and Burnley could certainly be on for their first Premier League points of the season. It's just a kind of optimistic ball, pushed forward, fed forward, down the right flank of Sander Berge. He's up against Scott McKenna. McKenna gets beaten physically. Berge, really, really good. Does come off his hand initially, then come down off his leg, but it won't. Nothing will matter there. McKenna keeps it, tries to see him out. Berge does so much better physically, cuts it back, and just waiting was Lyle Foster. Takes the strike. But they are going to check for a possible handball, though. As I mentioned, it might have come off Sander Berge's hand. We will wait and see. It is 2-1 from the on-the-field decision. But it might not be 2-1 from VAR. We will wait. If I see it again, it does look like it comes off a hand, but they're going to have a look at this. VAR, the referee's going to go to the screen, and what we know, if anybody keeps an eye on the Premier League and keeps a watch of Premier League football, when the referee's called to the screen, more often than not, he changes his decision. It was given on the field. VAR checking. I do think he does. It does hit his hand. I do think he leans in to try and take the ball away from McKenna and uses his hand, and the goal has been disallowed. So as always, what we see from the screen and what the officials do from the screen, they give a recommendation for the referee to go to the screen to have a look at it. The referee has a look and overturns his decision 9 times out of 10. And he's done it here again tonight. It is a clear handball on Sander Berge. I thought it wasn't going to matter, but it does, and it is huge. It looked a bit iffy initially, but it's not iffy from VAR when you replay it. And Burnley do not have the lead back. 1-1 at the City ground. They come again, trying to make sure that it's 2-1 as the cross comes in. And straight that time at Matt Turner, who can gather. So still, we are level here at the City ground. And it actually saves the blushes of Scott McKenna at centre-back for Forest, because he was absolutely done up like a kipper there. Absolutely so easy for him to just be kind of beaten off the ball. Kind of barged off the ball. It's not a foul or anything like that. He's just outmatched. Out-physicaled, if that's a word. Outdone physically, that's what I mean. Forest have a throw in then. 11 minutes plus additional time to go, and it is still 1-1 after that scare from Burnley to Forest fans, but VAR ruled it out, and correctly so, for a Sander Berge handball. Will we see a winner? Origi making himself a nuisance, trying to anyway. Awonyi, now Gibbs-White. Alanga whips across in. Waiting is Origi. Origi flicks it across. Blocked. Gibbs-White trying to follow up. And it takes a deflection. And it will be a Forest corner. I got a bit excited when Divock Origi was near the ball. Got a bit too excited. Gibbs-White. And then it finds Alanga. Alanga with a cross. Origi just beats his man at the back post. Tries to flick it across. Lovely back flick by Divock Origi. It keeps it in the mix. And then on running to it was Morgan Gibbs-White. Takes a deflection. Corner Forest. Look at that. Just seeing the replay of the Origi back flick. Lovely. There we go. Forest threatening again. They have a corner. Left hand side. Morgan Gibbs-White to take. 10 minutes plus additional time to go. Still in the balance. This game. Puts his hand up, Gibbs-White, right-footed in, swinging corner. Whip right across. Trafford is there. He flicks it into the danger zone. Burnley can't clear it first time or second time. They do on the third time of asking. Get the ball cleared. Trafford, far too casual in terms of goalkeeping. Just came and flapped at it. And flapped it into his own 18-yard box rather than away. Far too casual goalkeeping there from James Trafford. Forest have a throw-in on the right-hand side then. Steve says, wasn't expecting that. You got some goals anyway. I have indeed. I've seen 3 goals, 1 disallowed, and 2 really top-quality finishes for the night. And I still think there's going to be 1 more, at least. I don't know at what end, but I do think there will be a winner in this one. Throw in Forest on the right-hand side, right into the box. Headed away by a Burnley defender. They try and go on the break, Burnley. And they do actually keep the ball. They have bodies there to come forward, but they're just going to hold it up for the moment. Does bounce nicely. Lyle Foster's there waiting. Does help out Nuno Tavares, though, who's battling to win it back. There was Origi as well over there. And Burnley have it all the way back with Alderkeel and Trafford. Cullen. Alderkeel. Into space to find the midfielder there of Zaruri. Now Kolyosho, or not Kolyosho, that's not true. That was Trezor there, apologies. Taylor, now down the left hand side. Come Burnley right across. Straight into the hands of Matt Turner there. Good enough catch. We have a goal back in the game in La Liga. Granada have a goal back against Girona. We're still around 25 minutes to go in that one. 3-1 now in that one. Granada have a goal back. Still 0-0 between Verona and Bologna. And still 3-0 to Cliftonville at Crusaders tonight in the Irish Premiership. If you're ever so interested in any of those fixtures. McKenna. Yates. Aina. Linking up with Alanga, and Alanga is fouled there, so free kick to Nottingham Forest. Well, I wonder how much added time we're going to have in this one with that VAR decision. The VAR check for the Forest equaliser, and then the VAR decision, and then the review from the referee to rule out the Burnley second goal. Will be quite a lot of that, plus all the substitutions and these stoppages for set pieces. Could be quite a bit of added time at the end of this game. So Forest free kick on the right hand side, just inside the Burnley half. They're going to whip it forward here, try and get it into the box, into the danger zone. Taking their time, Forest. Any time today. I can't say who it is. It might be Morgan Gibbs-White that's taking it. It is. Right-footed, whips it in. But there's a foul in there on a Burnley player. Free kick Burnley. All of that anticipation, and it's very anticlimactic finish to that, as Burnley will have a free kick. All comes to nothing. Love that. Don't forget, more football coming your way this midweek, and a massive fixture tomorrow early on the channel. 5:45 kickoff UK time tomorrow, as Newcastle make their debut back in the Champions League in 20 years. They head to San Siro to face AC Milan, who were absolutely battered in the Milan derby at the weekend. 5-1 Inter beat AC in that one. But it's AC Milan, they're at home against Newcastle in that Champions League game to get the group stages underway. That's tomorrow, 5:45 on LFS. Corner whipped across by Burnley. Had to be headed clear by Aina. Brownhill picks it up for Burnley again. Taylor has to go backwards to build forwards. 5 minutes plus additional time to go. 1-1. Tresor now finds it to Sander Burge. Burge with a cross. Cleared away. Burge tries to win it back. Does so. Tresor with a cross. Straight into the hands of Matt Turner. Burnley showing intent to try and go for that winner. And in the Premier League this weekend, 8 out of 24 goals have been scored after the 85th minute. That is nuts, by the way. A third of the goals this weekend have come in the 85th minute or later this weekend. Well, that's to do with the fact that we've so much additional time, but that's actually quite crazy to be fair. 2 of those goals was actually 2 Tottenham goals as well, in their completion of that comeback against Sheffield United. Burnley are going to make another change, and another new signing is going to make who's going to come into the action in a moment. It's we'll get that to you in a moment. There's a man down here. He wants to come off. He's feeling cramp. The referee's telling him to get off the pitch. The referee's pointing to his watch saying there's no time wasting going on here. There's a man down. Burnley want to make a change. The player that's down wants to come off. He's not willing to go off the pitch to allow Burnley to bring a player on. He wants to walk off the pitch, but I've no idea why. Just rule him off the pitch or something. Get him off the pitch. Referee, take control. It's Jordan Beyer, it is. Yeah, he's just limping off here. He's not happy with that. And he is going off. And Jordan Beyer off. And the new signing, Hannes Delacroix, is on for Burnley. And the substitution for Forest then, Taiwo Awoniyi, is going to make way. And he is being replaced by the former Burnley striker, Chris Wood. What a story that would be if he scores against his old club, Chris Wood. Massive. Well, they have the chance here, because they have a corner, Forest. Or throw in, sorry. Long throw into the box. Chris Wood was there. Just missed him. Cuts it back. Sangare over the bar. That would have been some story if Chris Wood had connected with that. The long throw right into the box from the right-hand side. Wood is there. Roberts, I think, just gets in the way of it. The back flick from Gibbs-White. And running onto it was Ibrahim Sangare. Strikes right through the ball. The height is always there. It's always going over the bar. But that is good. Really, really good from Forest again. But not enough to find them the winner just yet. If they can get it. They've just given away a free kick as well. 2 minutes plus additional time to go. 1-1. If I had to take a guess at how much additional time, I would play somewhere around 6 or 7 minutes. minimum for that I would say should be added on. Ola Aina defending well there. Alanga trying to break forward, but he puts it out of play for a throw-in to Burnley. So throw-in for Burnley on the left. They're trying to win this one. If they hold on for a point, it'll be their first point of the season. If they do anything better than that, that will be even better for them. Forest, if they win this one, they will go as high as 7th in the Premier League. They will be up with the likes of Aston Villa and West Ham in 6th and 7th. Forest will stay 8th actually, with a draw or a win, to be fair, because goal difference, they won't go up above Villa. That is if they win. That is. Alanga back helping out defensively. Aina there as well. Clears it away. Only as far as Taylor. Burnley have the ball again. In the middle, Sander Berge tries to flick it on. Sangare back there helping out defensively, but actually hindering them. Plays it across. Foster almost close. Far too casual from Ibrahim Sangare. What's he doing here? He's trying to help out defensively. Quick feet. He gets completely beaten. That's awful defending. Awful defending. Corner Burnley then, as we're on the verge of 90. Just hit the 90 minutes. We will find out how long will be added on. 7 additional minutes. Round about where I predicted, 6-7 minutes. So 7 minutes additional time. Corner Burnley, whipped in, right-footed, headed on, and just wide. Goal kick. Lyle Foster again involved. Lyle Foster just broke forward, beat his man, and broke forward to try and head it towards goal, but always going wide from that position. Forest under the cosh a bit here, not able to get it out of their own defensive third. And Ola Aina commits a foul and winning it back from Josh Brownhill. So another free kick. Into added time in the Irish Premiership game, and it seems to be all done and dusted there. It looks to be 3 points going the way of Cliftonville in the North Belfast derby. They drew this game 2-2 last season at Seaview, but it's much better from Cliftonville. Ball cross. Forest have to defend this. Burnley have the threat, but it's almost, and it's cleared away. McKenna, they're helping out, getting it away for Forest. Under the threat, Burnley really pushing now to try and force a winner. As I was mentioning, Cliftonville will get 3 points there in that North Belfast derby. 3-0 to the good with just a few moments to go into added time there. Long throw from Burnley, whipped in into the box, not cleared away by Forest, can't get it away, it's bouncing around. Forest do eventually get it out of the danger zone. My goodness me. How they were not under so much more threat and how they didn't concede is very, very baffling. Goodness me, how close was that? It was Trezor, the debutant, had the strike. It was blocked and scrambling around. Sander Berge was also lurking to win it back, and luckily they got away with it, Forest, from their point of view, because they could have been on the edge of another goal there conceded. There is a check here at something. Oh, Lyle Foster has just elbowed Ryan Yates in the chest. Are VAR checking that? The game is stopped at the moment. The referee is waiting around. Lyle Foster looks to be giving a guilty look because he's trying to argue his case. Ryan Yates. And the referee's going to the screen again here. And I think Lyle Foster's night could be over a bit prematurely. We will see. I completely missed it. But from a relook, Lyle Foster looks guilty as everything here. We'll see this again. So VAR recommended the referee to go to the screen. So we'll see it. Lyle Foster and Ryan Yates battling in the box. He's got a hold of him, Ryan Yates. Just trying to defend him. And then it's kind of an elbow. Kind of strikes his right arm with the elbow leading right into the chest of Ryan Yates. It's very reckless from Lyle Foster, and the referee is going to do something here. He's pulling out the right pocket, and it's a red. Lyle Foster's night is over, and you could see as soon as he was arguing his case, you knew he was guilty. And Lyle Foster gets his marching orders, and Burnley down to 10 with moments to go. Their night is going from bad to worse. From having a lead against Forest, ruled out, Lyle Foster, his night has gone from bad to worse. He had the goal to put Burnley ahead again. That was ruled out by VAR. And then check complete. Referee goes to the screen again. And Lyle Foster is sent down the tunnel for an early bath here at the City Ground. Down to 10 Burnley. Still 1-1 though. So still they can hold on. But they'll need to hold on for another 3, 4, maybe even 5 minutes after that lengthy check. So could definitely be running over the 7 anyway. Added on. We've already played 4. Well, the clock's already run through 4 minutes out of the 7. But we'll probably play another minute or 2 to that. We will see. Burnley with the 10 men trying to go forward. And Trezor was offside there. Free kick to Forest. And in the Irish Premiership it has come to an end. The North Belfast derby. Cliftonville doing a number over their rivals Crusaders. Jim Magilton's side, a massive performance, a massive 3 points on the road, and Seaview silenced. The Cliftonville crowd in that away end are jubilant. 3-0 victors on the night, Cliftonville. Massive result for them. Steve says a soft red card. I mean, it's reckless play, it's dangerous. Forrest on the break though. Elanga cuts it back. Gibbs White with a strike. Flicked on. Straight into the hands of James Trafford. The flag went up against Chris Wood. There. Down the right hand side was Anthony Elanga. Played it across. Cut it back for Gibbs White, who flicked it on. And Chris Wood was in an offside position. He did flick it on. There. A soft red card? No, I wouldn't say so. I think if you have a look at it, I think you could argue that it's more of an orange. It's an orange card, but at the same time, I would still say the player knows what he's doing. He's just got a bit reckless. He's lost his head a bit. Probably a bit frustrated that his goal was ruled out. He's a bit frustrated, and I think he's just let himself go a bit there. He's seen red, and he literally has seen red. Aina with a cross, looking for Forrest to try and force a late winner. We've seen some late winners this weekend. Aston Villa winning it late on. Tottenham winning it late on. Both at home. Can Forest win it late on at home here against Burnley? Steve Cooper will be hoping so. Vincent Kompany will be hoping not, and hoping that his side can get their first points of the season. A big first point it would be, considering the circumstances. We will see. So, goal kick there for James Trafford to take. Or free kick, sorry. From that Chris Wood offside. Dealt with. We've just come up to the 7 added. So the 7 have been played. It's up to the referee now as how long more we will play here at the City Ground. Will there be time for a winner? Can we see a bit of late drama? Will we see a bit of late drama? We will wait and see. Burnley have the throw in though. Trying to run down the clock as much as possible. Long throw. Trying to target the forward there. That's got out of play. Another Burnley throw. Forest will need to get the ball and need to get it up the pitch quick if they want to win this. But Burnley will give their everything in these last few moments to make sure that they do not let this opportunity of picking up a big point away from home slip from them at this late stage. Roberts to take the throw in. Long throw into the box. Headed away by Aina. Flicked on by Gibbs White. Wood tries to carry them forward. Actually gives it away the other way. Brownhill. Can he cross it? He does cross it. Cleared away by Worrell. Picked up by Cullen. Tavares tries to feed it forward. Gets a nice ball to Gibbs White. Tries to give it to Aina, but that one's overhit. Forrest can't put a pass together at the minute. Diminishing their chances of a winner. Burnley holding on. Roberts with the long ball down the line. And McKenna with the battle. Flicked, brought down, and there's a pull there on Gibbs-White. Yellow card coming out. Free kick Forest on the halfway line. We played 90 seconds over the 97 minutes. As I said, with those long stoppages, for that long VAR check for a red card, we could be on for 2 minutes of additional time. We've about to play 2 minutes over the 7. And Forest, this might be their last opportunity. Morgan Gibbs-White with a free kick just inside the Burnley half. 100th minute. That was when Spurs won it on Saturday. Can Forest replicate that on Monday? Chris Wood flicks it on! And just into the hands of Trafford. That was a big moment. The ball worked its way into the box. It fell to Chris Wood, who flicked it on, trying to find a Forest player. But James Trafford comes up trumps and gets 2 good hands to it. And that was their last chance. It's the full-time whistle at the City Ground, and it's a point apiece. Forest, who were at threat of not even getting a single point here tonight, with Burnley going ahead through Lyle Foster. That was given for a handball. It was disallowed against Sander Berge and Lyle Foster. Then Burnley went down to 10 as Lyle Foster got a bit rowdy, a bit overzealous with Ryan Yates. But it's a point shared here at the City Ground. Forest, their positive start to the season continues. They would have wanted 3 points, but a point is good enough. They go to 8th in the table, above Palace, above Fulham, above Brentford, Newcastle and Manchester United, and they join the top 8. Burnley, on the other hand, they get their first point of the season. They stay second bottom, but it's a point to get their season up and running. It now means only Luton are with the only team without a single point this season. A really good point for Burnley on the road at a ground that is so difficult for teams to pick up points. Final score from the City Ground: Nottingham Forest 1, Burnley 1.